Welcome to About Life channel. Before you start watching the video, I want to ask you to help develop and subscribe to my channel. You will not be difficult and I am pleased.
Does faith grow naturally and necessarily out of the conditions of our lives, or is it imposed on us, or a mark of mental and moral failure? Prompted in part by Mark Vernon's admirable series, and in part by shame at my own intellectual idleness, I finally got around to reading the essays collected in William James' The Will to Believe when I was on holiday. There is one passage in the title essay which simply annihilates the evident Stoics. It sketches an entirely naturalistic account of faith in which religious commitment is on all fours with a faith that evidence can dismiss the question of God. It is extraordinary how his opening argument prefigures the work of contemporary Darwinian theorists such as Scott Atran and David Sloan Wilson. The importance of trust, and of costly signaling, in the evolution of language and so of human thought seems more important the more you think about it, and it is absolutely in the nature of any trust that it may be betrayed. I will simply reprint it here, lightly reprographed, since I can't be as clever or eloquent myself. A social organism of any sort whatever, large or small, is what it is because each member proceeds to his own duty with a trust that the other members will simultaneously do theirs. Wherever a desired result is achieved by the cooperation of many independent persons, its existence as a fact is a pure consequence of the precursive faith in one another of those immediately concerned. A government, an army, a commercial system, a ship, a college, an athletic team, all exist on this condition, without which not only is nothing achieved, but nothing is even attempted. A whole train of passengers, individually brave enough, will be looted by a few highwaymen, simply because the latter can count on one another, while each passenger fears that if he makes a movement of resistance, he will be shot before anyone else backs him up. If we believed that the whole carful would rise at once with us, we should each severally rise, and train robbing would never even be attempted. There are, then, cases where a fact cannot come at all unless a preliminary faith exists in its coming, and where faith in a fact can help create the fact. That would be an insane logic which should say that faith running ahead of scientific evidence is the lowest kind of immorality into which a thinking being can fall. Yet such is the logic by which our scientific absolutists pretend to regulate our lives, in truths dependent on our personal action. Then, faith based on desire is certainly a lawful and possibly an indispensable thing. But now, it will be said, these are all childish human cases, and have nothing to do with great cosmical matters, like the question of religious faith. Let us then pass on to that. Religions differ so much in their accidents that in discussing the religious question we must make it very generic and broad. What then do we now mean by the religious hypothesis? Science says things are, morality says some things are better than other things, and religion says essentially two things. First, she says that the best things are the more eternal things, the overlapping things, the things in the universe that throw the last stone, so to speak, and say the final word. Perfection is eternal. Add this phrase of Charles Secret tilde copyright Dan seems a good way of putting this first affirmation of religion, an affirmation which obviously cannot yet be verified scientifically at all. The second affirmation of religion is that we are better off even now if we believe her first affirmation to be true. Now, let us consider what the logical elements of this situation are in case the religious hypothesis in both its branches be really true. Of course, we must admit that possibility at the outset. If we are to discuss the question at all, it must involve a living option. If for any of you religion be a hypothesis that cannot, by any living possibility be true, then you need go no farther. I speak to the saving remnant alone. So proceeding, we see, first, that religion offers itself as a momentous option. We are supposed to gain, even now, by our belief, and to lose by our non-belief, a certain vital good. Secondly, religion is a forced option. So far as that good goes, we cannot escape the issue by remaining skeptical and waiting for more light, because, although we do avoid error in that way if religion be untrue, we lose the good, if it be true. just as certainly as if we positively chose to disbelieve. It is as if a man should hesitate indefinitely to ask a certain woman to marry him because he was not perfectly sure that she would prove an angel after he brought her home. Would he not cut himself off from that particular angel possibility as decisively as if he went and married someone else? Skepticism, then, is not avoidance of option, it is option of a certain particular kind of risk. Better risk loss of truth than chance of error. That is your faith vetoer's exact position. He is actively playing his stake as much as the believer as he is backing the field against the religious hypothesis, just as the believer is backing the religious hypothesis against the field. To preach skepticism to us as a duty until sufficient evidence for religion be found, is tantamount therefore to telling us, when in presence of the religious hypothesis, that to yield to our fear of its being error is wiser and better than to yield to our hope that it may be true. It is not intellect against all passions, then it is only intellect with one passion laying down its law. And by what? Is the supreme wisdom of this passion warranted? Dupery for dupery? What proof is there that dupery through hope is so much worse than dupery through fear? A broken bar. We have a small favor to ask. Millions are turning to The Guardian for open, independent, quality news every day, and readers in 180 countries around the world now support us financially. We believe everyone deserves access to information that's grounded in science and truth, and analysis rooted in authority and integrity. That's why we made a different choice, to keep our reporting open for all readers, regardless of where they live or what they can afford to pay. This means more people can be better informed, united, and inspired to take meaningful action. In these perilous times, a truth-seeking global news organization like The Guardian is essential. We have no shareholders or billionaire owner, meaning our journalism is free from commercial and political influence. This makes us different, when it's never been more important. Our independence allows us to fearlessly investigate, challenge and expose those in power. Support please my channel from as little as $1. It only takes a minute. If you can, please consider supporting us with a regular amount each month. Thank you. If so, do not forget to give it a like and write your opinion about this video. It will help me in promoting the channel and more motivation to continue to do so. Thank you very much for watching.